This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Good morning and welcome to the Extra. This is Robert Cherabonyo. That is only if you have just joined us. But don't forget that we are always here from 6:30, and that is when Good Morning Uganda starts. The mighty four plus a very big team behind the scenes that make sure we come live to your sitting room, to your bedroom, to your hotel room, to your smartphone, because we're in the times of digital transformation and technology, so you can watch us anytime. We stream live on YouTube, so you can't afford to miss us every weekday. Now, today in the Extra, we want to talk issues regarding water, and that is the Uganda Water and Environment Week that will be starting next week. And joining me to discuss this, I have Dr. Kalistindi Mugaya, who happens to be the Commissioner, Water Resources, Planning, Regulation in the Ministry of Water and Environment. Doctor, it's a pleasure having you again. I remember last year when we were talking about COP and the agenda for Uganda, East Africa, and Africa at large. We hope you got success, because I remember by then the issue of the loss and damage fund was something that you promised we shall have a win. I don't know what transpired, but I'm happy to have you again.
Okay, thank you very much, moderator, for having me. Yes, that's one of the things we shall be discussing during the Uganda Water and Environment Week, the outcomes of the climate change conference in Dubai. And loss and damage was one of the key issues. So we'll be discussing that next week as I elaborate. Thank you.
Now, Doctor, when we talk about, first let our viewers understand, what does your ministry do and what has been its impact towards national development?
The Ministry of Water and Environment is the government institution responsible for all issues of water, environment, and climate change. We deliver water services to Ugandans in the rural and urban areas. We deliver water for productive uses, but also make sure that this water is available now and in the future in the right quantity and quality. But also protect the environment. We want to make sure that the wetlands are secured so that they perform their functions. We look after forests. We also look after the general environment. But also we are responsible for ensuring that issues related to climate change are addressed so that they don't affect Uganda's socio-economic development. So water and environment resources are key in Uganda's development, and there isn't any activity you can actually undertake without water. So we support the development through hydropower generation. For example, we generate power through water. We are using water for irrigation. We are using water for drinking, for industry, oil and gas, many activities that depend on water. And of course for us individuals, because without water you cannot survive. So we are key in the socio-economic development of the country, and that's what the Ministry of Water and Environment does.
And indeed there's a famous saying that water is life. Of course, recently we added water and money is life. Doctor, we are now discussing the Uganda Water and Environment Week. Like I earlier said, that will be beginning on Monday. Help us understand. It sounds to me this may be the first time.
Thank you very much, moderator. Yes, the Uganda Water and Environment Week actually has been around now for 6 years. We started in 2018 when during the celebration of the World Water Day, World Forest Day, and World Meteorological Day. And next week we shall be having it for the 7th year running. So we have run it for 6 years.
Because at least the Water Day and the rest have been so prominent. I don't know why this has been a bit...
They have been prominent, and what we are trying to do is to make sure that Ugandans actually that affect us, to interface, create partnerships and networks. We know that because water affects everybody, we need stakeholders to come and understand what do we need to do to make sure that this water is available now and in the future. But how can we take advantage of this water, again, to make money? We are now trying to get people to realize that you can actually make money out of water, out of environment resources, so that we stop crying and saying, well, we are poor, when we actually have resources next to us. So the Water and Environment Week has been put together basically to create an opportunity for stakeholders to come together and talk with each other. In Uganda, we really don't have many opportunities for people to interface. We tend to remain in our areas, in our silos, but the Water and Environment Week has been created to open up space so that we realize that we are stronger together, that there is a lot we can do together to secure this country and ensure that we support our socio-economic development aspirations. So that's basically the purpose of the Uganda Water and Environment Week.
Now, do we have specific activities apart from bringing stakeholders? Because as we discuss issues of water, Doctor, one of the things that is very hard for people to understand is appreciate water, because I think it's a free good we have. It is something that has always been there. You may go to many people's houses and they don't even think of harvesting water. They will complain of water bills. This person has a roof, a very big mansion. There is nothing like harvesting water. So how do we bring them to appreciate? Are there specific activities that may create public awareness apart from TV shows and having these stakeholders maybe in meetings or conferences?
Oh, thank you very much. I think we have raised an important issue that many of us take water for granted.
Yes.
So when water is available, you assume it will always be there. But when it is not there, that's when you know how important it is. Indeed, we use water for different purposes, for drinking, for cooking, for bathing, for washing clothes, but also for supporting our various activities, even at home. So we are trying to get people to realize that this water can actually get finished. There are some areas in Uganda where people trek for many, many kilometers looking for water. So during the Uganda Water and Environment Week, we are trying to get people to realize, as you rightly said, that actually you can harvest water on your roof and stop running after it has rained. So those are the kind of things we are trying to do, but specifically to highlight the activities that are being done. While we are saying that the Uganda Water and Environment Week will take place next week, this is now the climax of the celebrations. We have been having a team walking 518 kilometers from Fort Portal through Kasese, Bushenyi, Mbarara, Masaka. Right now they are in Mpigi. They will be reaching Kampala tomorrow, 14th March, where again along the way they are engaging the people. They are showing people what can be done. For example, we are demonstrating water harvesting technologies. We are also demonstrating how, for example, you can turn waste into wealth. We are demonstrating tree planting. So we are demonstrating many, many things. So along the way and during the walk, a lot of awareness, a lot of knowledge is being shared, but a lot of experiences and innovations are being shared. But the Ministry of Water and Environment has regional offices. We have an office in Karamoja, we have an office in Mbale, we have an office in Mbarara, an office in Wakiso, Lira, and Fort Portal. Through those 6 regional offices, we are having what actually we call mini water weeks. So the last 3 weeks, all the regions over the country have been very, very active, working with the people on the ground, working with the farmers, working with the religious institutions, cultural institutions, the academic institution, the school, the children. So there has been a lot of activity all over the country, and they are continuing this week up to Friday. So next week on Monday, 18th, that will be the climax of the celebrations, where we'll be having national celebration. But we are having activities all over the country. We're having youth debates. We're having football matches. We're having people running, clean-up exercises, so much. And people are doing it because our teams are doing it because we want to demonstrate to people that water and environment resources are very, very important, but we need to work together to look after them. So we'll also be having clean-up exercises. We have had them in the regions. Tomorrow we'll be having a clean-up exercise in Kampala, in Ruzira, and Nakawa, and Port Bell. Again, working with, for example, in Nakawa, we'll be working with the Uganda Manufacturing Association and Small Scale Industries Association. Again, to get them to know that you cannot set up an industry where the water is not involved. Water is used either as a primary input or a secondary input. But we want them to make sure that we work together to secure that water so that these industries, these factories actually are sustained. So the purpose of engaging across the country is to enlist the support and raise awareness, but also get people to know that we really have the knowledge, we have the technologies to be able to do these kind of things. Thank you.
Well, every year you have a theme, and it guides so much in what you want to pass to the public. What's the theme of this year?
Yes, indeed, every year we have a theme for the Uganda Water and Environment Week, and the theme is drawn from happenings in Uganda, in the region, and globally. Last year, we had many, many activities taking place regionally and globally, and also within the country. We had the Uganda Water and Environment Week in 2023, and it came up with key recommendations and outcomes, which now we were requested to move forward. But we had the UN Water Conference. This conference took place in New York after 50 years. The first one was held in 1977. So we had the second water conference at the UN level, held in New York in March last year. It came up with key recommendations and commitments by all countries in the world. Uganda was there, and we came up with commitments as a country. We had SDG Forum, Sustainable Development Goal Summit in New York, where the international community were reviewing progress with achieving SDGs at midterm. We had in Uganda, we hosted the 7th Nile Basin Development Forum. We had this, conference on sanitation held in South Africa. We had the conference of parties held in Dubai, but also we had the biodiversity forum held in Canada. So all of these came up with key issues related to water, environment, and climate change. And these have shaped our theme. So our theme for this year is rethinking collective action and innovative solutions to water, environment, and climate change crisis. Ideally, we are trying to look back and say, are we doing enough in terms of action? Are we bringing all the stakeholders together? Are we taking advantage of available solutions and technologies? So we want to use this, the Uganda Water and Environment Week, to rethink how we are doing things as government, as civil society, as private sector, cultural institutions, basically all the stakeholders, and then look at those innovative solutions that are available that can help us to deliver water to Ugandans. Right now, in the rural areas, about 69% of Ugandans have access to safe water. In urban areas, 72%. So we are still far from our target. So during the Uganda Water and Environment Week, we want to rethink what kind of innovations we have been utilizing, but what more do we need to do to make sure that every Ugandan has access to safe drinking water and sanitation services. Right now, climate change is affecting us. Agricultural production is affected. In the dry season, people are not actually producing. So again, we are trying to see...
Also, over 90% of our farmers are depending on rainfall-fed agriculture.
Yes, indeed. And now we want to see how do we ensure that agriculture actually is supported. Again, you can only support agriculture if you bring water to crops, and that's irrigation. So again, we are trying to look at what are available irrigation technologies, but also what can we do to scale it up so that even the farmers can do it. But also we are looking at water as an water and environment resources for job creation, for wealth creation and income generation. For example, the parish development model. We want to see how can we ensure that water and environment resources contribute to the parish development model and ensure that people achieve their aspirations. So the theme is basically challenging all of us to rethink the way we are doing things and also rethink the innovative solutions that we have now and what more we can utilize to move our agenda forward. So it is going to be a dialogue, and we expect that we'll be getting ideas from the various stakeholders, and then for us as a ministry, we'll capture them and move them forward into policy and practice.
Now, Doctor, since 2018, we've been having the Uganda Water and Environment Week. Now, how different is this year's week?
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, every year we try to innovate. We really, every year we try to do things differently.
And we are eager for new things.
Yes, eager for new things. So this year, what is new? This year, it's the first time that we have had mini water and environment weeks all over the country. Previously, out there up country, people would engage in cleanup exercises, engage in tree planting, engage in debates. But this year, each of the 6 regions of the country, basically covering the whole country, have had their mini water and environment weeks. They have had dialogues, they have engaged stakeholders, and we have created space during the national event. They are going to present the outcomes of the mini water and environment week. So for the first time, we are having actual water and environment week going regional, where the people on the ground have contributed. So that's number one. The other one which we have brought on board is celebration of the international days and giving them prominence and linking them to the theme. On the last day of the Uganda Water and Environment Week, we have dedicated an afternoon where we want to reflect on international days. The World Water Day, the theme for the World Water Day is Water for Peace. We now want to reflect on that and see how is water contributing to peace. But if water is not available, can we end up having conflicts? You could have heard about conflicts in the Nile, people fighting over Nile. Ethiopia, Egypt. Yes. Even people on the ground, when water is not enough, people will fight actually around the water source. So we are again reflecting on that. How can water become a catalyst for peace? But if water is not available where it is needed and the right quantity, then it can lead into conflicts. And of course, we are also looking at the World Meteorological Day, where we want to look at how we take climate action, and of course, Forest Day, where we want to make sure that we improve our forest cover and protect the natural resources. So we have dedicated a whole afternoon to get Ugandans to celebrate international, and we will be having the UN represented so that we get the messages and we join the international community. Then the other thing also we have brought on board, within the Ministry of Water and Environment, we have created a program for people who have retired. We do believe that once you have reached retirement age, you should still continue contributing. So we created a program in the ministry called Retired Professionals Scheme, where all of those that have worked on areas related to water, and indeed even the media like you actually qualify to be part of that program because you can help us to bring the voices and reach the people. So this program started in 2022, and we are getting the people to come together. So as part of the Uganda Water and Environment Week, we have also created an afternoon where we invited all of those that have retired to come and meet with each other, meet with us, and we are calling that session Meet and Greet Water and Environment Sector Elders. We want to meet them. We want to thank them for the contribution they have made to the country, but also we want them to get updated on new developments and get the young people to actually know those who have made the sector what it is and be able also to learn from them as mentors and people who can guide them. But we also have dialogues, we have side events, we have trainings, we have field visits. Those have been running, but we have tried to add in new things so that we can make it better and bigger.
Now, we are still looking at the Water and Environment Week. This is going to be the 7th because we first had this in 2018. And of course, there has always been a beehive of activities to ensure that we appreciate this resource, but we also look at how best we can ensure we keep our environment, more so at this time of population increase, and we are seeing impacts of climate change taking on us. We are seeing droughts. Sometimes then when rain comes, it's also very excessive, and it is more of a danger to us than actually a resource we need. We know our population in farming, of course, we're not so much into commercial agriculture, but our peasants there, every time the rains take longer, they will cry, they will make tremendous losses, they will delay planting because they depend on rainfall-fed agriculture. Now, this is why government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Water and Environment, is saying next week, yet again, we'll be looking at the Water and Environment Week and bring in stakeholders, like the Commissioner has said, to discuss, to interact. And I love the word innovations. Commissioner, when you say to look at the innovations that have come up in the field of water. For me, I'm very passionate for the farmers. You know, what are those innovations in terms of irrigation? How can I have it cheaper? Do we still have to go back to you dig a dam, then you dig and all that? So this is what it's all about. But allow me to go for a very short break. When I return, I and my guest will still be discussing more regarding the Water and Environment Week this year, 2024.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Juko.
Yo.
Wachiko.
Ekirai.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda wange. Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. But what you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that.
Okay.
The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
It is the Extra on UBC TV. Much thanks for being with us all the way from 6:30 when we began our daily live broadcast, and that was with Good Morning Uganda. Now, this is an extension, which is the Extra. I'm still Robert Chirabonyonitono, and with me I have Dr. Kalistindi Mugaya, who happens to be the Commissioner, Water Resources, Planning and Regulation at the Ministry of Water and Environment. We are discussing the Water and Environment Week, which is happening for the 7th time since 2018, and this will commence on Monday next week. However, there have been a series of activities that are happening, and we shall have the week then start off, like people trekking a long distance, creating awareness, sensitization regarding water that sometimes looks a free good, but when it's not there, life almost is impossible. And you agree, water is life. Without water, I don't know what the world could be then. Now, Doctor, this is the 7th time that we are going to be having the Water and Environment Week, but help us understand what have been the successes and also the impact of the previous. What can we look up to and say, well, this is justifiable why we should continue having this week?
Thank you very much. When we started in 2018, I must say that many people, many stakeholders were wondering whether it was worth it. We had very few stakeholders participating, but since that time, we have had many, over 60 partner organizations within the country and outside the country coming forward to actually engage in this. But specifically, we have been able to mobilize the participation of the various stakeholders. For example, since 2018 and through the Uganda Water and Environment Week, we have mobilized the Buganda Kingdom. Right now, the Buganda Kingdom is a big player. They are engaged in restoration activities. They are engaged in many activities on the ground. We have a memorandum of understanding with them, and no activity related to water and environment that is done in the Buganda Kingdom by the Buganda Kingdom without involving the ministry, but there is no activity related to water, environment, and climate change in the Buganda Kingdom where the kingdom is not involved. And for us, that's a very big achievement. They are a key player, they have the big population, but also when the Kabaka speaks, when the Katikkiro speak, then many subjects listen. We have since also signed a memorandum of understanding with the Toro Kingdom. We have signed another one with the Singapore Rwenzururu. We are now negotiating one with the Bunyoro Kingdom and the Busoga Kingdom, and we are continuing. So for us, bringing on board the cultural institutions has been very key, and that's one of the results of the Uganda Water and Environment Week. And they are helping government to deliver its services. They are helping to pass over the messages, even when you have information on technologies, information on what needs to be done, tree planting. We go through them, so they are helping us to reach the people, and the people are listening and they are taking action. We have also been able to work with the religious institution. Now we have a collaboration with Uganda Joint Christian Council. Again, all activities they are involved, and for the Uganda Water and Environment Week, over the last 2 Uganda Water and Environment Weeks, we always have high-level representation. We have last year we had an Archbishop for the Orthodox. This year we expect to have the Archbishop of the Catholic, the Archbishop of Kampala, and they come along with a number of religious people. Again, through the churches, through the mosques, we are reaching the people. Again, we are taking advantage of their network, but also their capacity and their convening power. We have also been able to bring on board the private sector. Right now, we work with the private sector. Previously, the private sector were not even engaged. Right now, we have a program, for example, funded by Uganda Breweries to restore River Ruizi. We have been having a program with Kinyara Sugar, with Coca-Cola, with many other private sector organizations. We have also been having programs on turning waste into wealth with the Uganda Manufacturers Association. So bringing on board the private sector, they are putting in money, but they are helping us to deliver our services. We have also been able to mobilize the civil society. Now we have many civil society organizations involved. We have universities right now, we have many universities involved in the work. The debates we're having youth debates, university debates, the hackathon. All universities in Uganda that teach courses related to water and environment and climate change are engaged. And for us, we are taking advantage of their capacity to do research, but also to teach. We also, of course, are engaging other government institutions, work with other government institutions strongly. Many of them were not working together. For example, the National Planning Authority is very much involved, and they are right now trying to see how we can position water in the national development planning and implementation processes. Water and environment resources are being positioned very well in the national development plan again, through these engagements, Minister of Finance, so the Prime Minister, other ministries. But we have also been able to mobilize resources. We are having partners that are coming on board to support us. For example, through the work we have been doing, we have been able to mobilize funding from Hilton Foundation. Hilton Foundation previously was funding civil society. For the first time, they have decided to fund government. And they're actually funding some of the activities related to the UN Water Conference. We shall also be informing Ugandans on the commitments Uganda made, but also how we are implementing them through the support of Hilton Foundation. One of the areas, for example, is we are trying to scale up planning for water, sanitation, and hygiene, and get the whole country to develop water, sanitation, and hygiene plans so that we can use them to mobilize resources and get all the partners to work together. We're also trying to address challenges of water quality, lead in water and pipes, but also we are trying to raise awareness and mobilize support from within the country and outside to be able to implement our aspirations. We are also getting climate financing. Through COP, we are able actually to engage with partners, and through this arrangement, we are creating mechanisms for that. So the Uganda Water and Environment Week has delivered in many fronts. In terms of awareness, many people now are aware of issues of water, environment, and climate change. In terms of participation, we have many partners. This year, we have many partners, actually probably over 100 partners. And these are coming in with resources, some in kind and some in cash. And for us, these are helping us to move our agenda, and that's the way to go. But we also realize that they are going to help us reach the common person so that the common person can contribute and benefit from these resources. Thank you.
Yes, Doctor, you've mentioned of a number of achievements, I must say, but one thing that comes to my mind very quick is sustainability. I'll give a very good example. You mentioned of our religious leaders, cultural leaders being brought on board. And one of the ways I've seen them, and I think we've made it policy, when a bishop, when a sheikh visits, they plant a tree. You know, it is ceremonial, they plant a tree. But doctor, if we are to do research, you may find that maybe over 70% of these trees dry up. We've created awareness. Now you see organizations, sometimes under social responsibility, they will say we are planting a forest, assumably. Then when you go back after some time, you don't see this. Sometimes when we talk about these cleanings that happen to create awareness, cleaning water resources, spring wells and all that, under this very week. After you go back, you just want to say, I wish the week was this day. So doctor, what are you doing to ensure people are not just acting over an event, but they understand and there is continuity?
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. You are very right. Sustainability is a very big challenge in everything we do. Even maybe before I talk about what we do in the Water and Environment Week, I think we normally focus, even as individuals, as institutions, on putting in place new investments, but we don't give much attention to actually maintaining them. So related to what you have talked about, yes, people will plant trees. Trees, we need to be looked after. Actually, in the ministry, we now not call it tree plant, we call it tree growing. A tree has to grow. You plant it, you continue watering it, you continue weeding around it so that it grows. But we are looking at it now in a different way. Whatever we are doing, we are trying to look at them from a business lens, from an income generation lens, from the job creation lens. In the Ministry of Water and Environment, previously would have challenges with, for example, protecting wetlands, protecting water bodies, because people would look at them as wastelands. Now, all our programs now have a livelihood component that helps people to look at these resources as sources of income, sources of jobs, and sources of wealth. For example, we have created what we call water and environment cooperatives in some areas where we want people to look at the resource in a cooperative manner and see how they can get money out of it. And right now, we have about 15 water and environment cooperatives all over the country. They are in the initial stages, but they are showing promise. For example, you find that people are around the wetland. So what we do, we take them through business incubation training so that they look at the wetland as a resource. For example, there's a wetland in Ntungamu. It was highly degraded, but when we started working with the people, of course, people resisted. They say, we can't leave this wetland. But when we worked with them and indicated to them that they can actually get a lot of money from the wetland, they accepted. Right now, the wetland has been brought back. People are cutting papyrus, mulching material from the wetland. They are using that material to mulch banana plantations. So we are creating jobs along the value chain. They are the youth who are cutting that material. They are the youth who are transporting it. And they are the youth and women who are actually putting that material in banana plantation. If you go there now, nobody can touch that wetland. If you want to tamper with it, those people will actually kill you. They are also now around there, they are using that material around the wetlands. They are keeping zero grazing goats and cows. But they are also engaging in activities, like for example, the women are making mats, baskets out of that. But they are also creating fish ponds around the wetland. So you find a community that was looking at that wetland as a waste, now looking at it as a source of wealth and income. So sustainability is being looked at from that business lens, from that income generation lens, that if you plant a tree, what can you get out of this tree? And in some areas we are promoting also fruit trees. Now somebody
yes.
plants a tree, fruit tree, and starts harvesting fruits. Such a person cannot stop looking after that. So we still have that challenge, but things are changing now. For example, if you have a forest, you plant, you have a forest. You can do so much in the forest. Right now we are supporting people even put in beehives apiary. So that you have a forest, you put in the beehives and you start getting honey. But we help people to link them to the markets so that you can get the honey and then you link to the market. And through that arrangement, we actually improve people's livelihoods, but also incomes, but also ensuring sustainability. I just give you an example. There's work I've been doing in Kasese, where people are having challenges of flooding in Nyamwamba. And of course, people were dying. Now, we looked at the flooding as a problem, but also we wanted to turn it into an opportunity. So we now have got the youth, they are turning stones into products. The stones which are in the river, which were a problem, we have supported them. We got some funding from the World Bank. Now we even gave them some equipment. They are now turning stones into plates, into hand wash basins, into cups and all of that. And they are now making money. So a community which was looking at a problem, now we are turning a problem into an opportunity. And such youth now we look after the river because they are getting benefits. We have also in that area supported people with the tourism. We have created tourism sheds. So where people are supposed to protect these resources, they are now using those areas as tourism. And when the tourists come, they take them to see where the flooding was, where the stones are, and they are making money. And such people are helping us. So sustainability is being looked at from that lens, but we still need to do a lot more, I must say. That's why engagements have to continue. That's why we have to continue raising awareness, so that people realize that if we don't sustain these resources can get finished and the country will actually suffer.
Well, Doctor, as we come to the end of the show regarding the water and environment, we're kicking off Monday. Where is the venue going to be? If you're at liberty also, who is expected to be the chief guest?
Thank you very much. The event is going to formally start on 18th March, that is Monday next week, and to run from Monday up to Friday. We will be starting with an opening ceremony, which will be actually broadcast live on UBC and NBS, so we are happy really to continue associating with the UBC. UBC has actually been our broadcaster over the 6th Uganda Water and Environment Weeks. We have had UBC throughout with us. Even during the walk, UBC gave us somebody that is with the workers, UBC and Bukede, and also have a number of other journalists. So this event is going to be broadcast live, but of course we have physical presence and online presence. Those who cannot attend physically can of course watch the opening ceremony live on UBC and NBS, but we also will have Zoom. We'll be relaying it live through social media. Our chief guest is going to be the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Thomas Tayebwa. Every year we get different chief guests. Previous years we have had the Vice President of Uganda, we have had the Prime Ministers, we have had First Deputy Prime Ministers. So every year we change. So this time around we decided to get the Deputy Speaker. Previously we had the Speaker of Parliament. So we continue moving. Next years we are also going now to move into the judiciary. We want to make sure that we get all the stakeholders, and when they come, gives them an opportunity to also appreciate the issues we are talking about. So the Deputy Speaker of Parliament is going to be our guest of honor, but we will also be having a number of other high-level dignitaries. We have the UN Resident Coordinator will be there. We have the Archbishop of Kampala they will be there. We have the Cathedral of Uganda will be there. We have a number of other organizations high-level. And during the opening ceremony, we also have a keynote speaker. We have two keynote speakers. The Director General of the International Water Management Institute, based in Sri Lanka, he will be with us. We always again get high-level speakers, stimulate thinking so that we don't just operate at the local level, but we also be having a keynote speaker, the Managing Director of National Water and Sewage Corporation, and we will be having a number of panelists and other speakers throughout the week. We have 4 We have an overall theme where we'll be having a keynote speaker, but we also have sub-themes where we'll also be having keynote speakers and the panelists. We have over 25 side events where different stakeholders will actually be showcasing what they do, but also we have exhibition. Within the premises of the Ministry of Water and Environment in Ruzira, we have over 30 exhibitors that will be showcasing the work they do, the technologies, the innovations, but also getting all of us to realize that we have actually the knowledge, we have the capacity if we work together to move the agenda forward. We'll also be having youth debating, we shall be having youth competition, we'll be having hackathon, we'll also be having field visits. So the week is packed, and really we want to encourage everybody to come and join us, either online or physically, so that you can see what the sector has to offer, but also what you can contribute to make sure that water and environment resources become an opportunity and not a problem.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Doctor, for your time, and of course for our viewers who have been with us all the way from 6:30. Thank you so very much, and always make it a date with us here in UBC TV. Good morning, Uganda. And don't forget, tonight at exactly 10 p.m. we'll be having Behind the Headlines, a very, very interesting panel here. I see with Timothy Nyangwesho. We shall be having Chris Obore, who happens to be the Communications Director at Parliament, Dr. Patricia Chen, who is the Deputy IGG. We shall have Honorable Omara Paul, MP Otuke County. We shall have Professor Sarah Sally, the Dean School of Gender and Women's Studies, that is at Makere. Then we shall also have Dr. Sarah Birete, who happens to be also, that is the EDCCG. And the topic to be discussed is leadership, institutional culture, and systems, the antidote to the cancer of corruption. So you can't afford to miss Behind the Headlines today, 10 p.m. with Timothy Nyangwesho. I'll have to leave you and give room for more programming. Keep it with us on UBC TV. See you tomorrow, God willing. Have a lovely day. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is